it's Jennifer with DP Addiction Adventures. And tonight I thought we'd do something a little bit different. I had just posted a show and tell video, and at the end I had talked about this puzzle I received, and I got a few questions about our adoption stories. So if you want to hear a little bit about our story and what this little scene is all about, then feel free to stay tuned. If you feel like only diamond painting tonight and want to watch another video, there's plenty of other videos on my channel, as well as some amazing people who are doing drill with me's. So if you want, you can use this as a drill with me. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about our adoption story. It starts back with my daughter. You've seen her, well, you've seen her hands and you've heard her voice a couple times. She has done her own little diamond painting, and thank you so much for supporting her and giving her encouragement. She just really loves, doing something that she kind of thinks is an adult thing. So I really appreciate that. She will be 11 in October. And when my husband and I decided to have children, she, first try, boom, there she was. And I was in the middle of getting my master's in professional counseling. And so I was working full-time, I was pregnant, and I was getting my master's. Now, if you listen to one of my embarrassing moments, you know that for some odd reason, I love to stress myself out. Have you noticed a pattern? So I'm trying to do a lot better now. But my husband was also working full-time, and he was in seminary and getting his master's in art and religion. And which is really funny because now he works for Apple, the computer company, and he's loving that, and that's like his long-term career and where he's heading. He's not in one of the mall kiosks. He actually works from home. And so anyway, we decided to take a couple years off of having children. My husband actually said, I really don't think we should have children until you're done with your degree. Well, because of the timetable, the fact that I had to work full-time, that I was taking 1 to 2 classes at a time, it also took a year to find an internship, and then I had to intern for a year. It took like 6 years to get my degree. So when it was time to have kids again, we were really excited. Lydia was, almost 6 years old, and we started trying. And one thing led to another, and we got pregnant. Within 8 weeks, I went on a business trip, and I had to speak. I used to work for an anti-human trafficking organization, and I went and I spoke. I'm from Michigan. I went to Fargo, North Dakota, and ended up miscarrying on the retreat that I was speaking at. I started feeling really ill while I was speaking. I was the keynote. During lunch, I went to the bathroom, figured out what was going on, and had to dismiss myself. Luckily, I had somebody who could finish the last session. And that was heartbreaking. Number one, because I had never experienced that kind of loss before. And number two, I was separated from my husband, and I was with strangers. And I had to try to figure out how to fly home, how to navigate that and still be put together, because I didn't tell anybody what was going on. And that was really difficult. So this just started happening. We ended up having 3 losses within a year. We went to a fertility clinic because of it's weird. It's not infertility because I didn't have trouble conceiving. I had trouble keeping the child. So anyway, it ended up being, there were a couple instances that I actually had to go to the hospital during some of the miscarriages. And one was significantly hard on my body. The doctor said at that point I should not get pregnant again. We did get pregnant, not on purpose, but because all my hormones were so out of whack. And so we lost a total of 7 children and a 2.5-year period. It was an extremely dark time for me. I was still working full time. You know, I had this beautiful daughter that didn't know anything that was going on except that mommy was sick. All the doctor's appointments are all the hormones going up and down. I have a small anxiety issue that when I'm really stressed, I can't naturally keep it in check. So when you're pregnant, I can't be on that. So not only did I have the hormone issues, I also had the severe anxiety leading into depression and suicidal thoughts. And I just was at the lowest of my low. And I remember after all was said and done, I had a really hard time choosing adoption because I felt like that meant I was closing the door on having something that was connected to me. And my whole life I had, been this therapist helping other people through these issues, and now I was walking through them. And I felt utterly alone. I didn't care for myself like I should have. I didn't go seek help like I should have. I didn't reach out to friends even though they wanted to reach out to me. I was extremely mad at God. I hated him. And so my healing journey actually began with this little elephant. So I was walking through Hobby Lobby. My husband and I had been talking about adoption, and we were looking into it. I'm not going to go into why we chose the path that we did for adoption. I know, please, with the journey that we've been on, try to keep from commenting about foster to adopt or cheaper ways. This is the path we decided, so this is the path we're taking. I know you mean well, but this is the path after much discussion. So I was walking through Hobby Lobby, and these colors always make me happy. My bedroom my comforter is kind of in this color, and my walls are like a dark espresso coffee, like brown, very dark brown. And it just makes me happy. And I was walking through this, and I love elephants. They're my favorite animal. And I saw this, and my heart just began to heal. I felt like it was God telling me not to give up, that he had a plan, that there were so many children in the world that needed to be loved, and that the love that I have would not return void, that there was somebody out there waiting to be loved by me and our family. And so all of this was going through my head as I was walking through Hobby Lobby, and so I had to buy this. It's in our bedroom, and it's waiting to go into the nursery as one of the first things to decorate the nursery. So that is why, and I'll get to this in a minute, but that is why this has the gray and the like aqua teal type colors in it. Because of all the losses, I felt like, number one, everyone asked me, well, did you name your children? And I can't. I know it's supposed to be healing, but for me, there's something opposite. I just feel like it's so sacred that I don't want to put a name on that relationship that I had with those children. And at first, after the first couple losses, I wanted to get like these little hearts to hang on the wall, or something that only I knew or my family knew when we looked at them that it meant to each child. But as the numbers piled up, I thought, you know, for me, that's going to be counterproductive because I'm going to keep seeing this number growing. Like in the middle of me trying to figure out how to remember, you know, I truly believe they're my children. And so I kind of collect these angels. I'm not a fanatic. I have maybe 10 or 12 of them, so enough that it's definitely a collection. And they came out with one. These are Willow Trees. And this was 2010. I didn't realize they had this one. But it's this woman with a gold heart over her heart. And it's called Remembrance. And when I saw this, I thought, you know, that's perfect. Because they etched themselves in my heart. And I won't forget it. And so this is my remembering those times, and each one is special to me. And so no, I don't have 7 of these, I just have one. And when I look at it, you know, it's very discreet. It goes, you know, up on the little shadow boxes in our living room, and I just know. So yeah, so that leads us to our adoption journey. And we have a GoFundMe page. This is not a fundraising video. I just am adding this in because some people were curious. And so my husband has to update it. I think it needs to have about $1,000 more added to it. We had a garage sale this summer, and we had 2 or 3 people also donate to us that he's got to put in, because if you go to that page and donate through the page, it records it. But if somebody hands me a check, I have to go in and record it on the page to help the thermometer go up and down. But basically, anybody, I sent this image in, if you haven't seen the other video. A dear friend of mine is a graphic designer, and she made this for me. It's gray in the background and has these white arrows. They're kind of hard to see. And our scripture is, I prayed for this child, and the Lord granted me what I asked of him. 1 Samuel 1:27. And so what I did is I sent this in to a company that creates, you know, puzzles and coasters and posters and coffee mugs. And they created a 250-piece puzzle for me. And every person that's ever donated or will donate in the future will get their name put on the back of this puzzle piece. So we keep the puzzle pieces with your name on the back, and when we're done fundraising, we'll put the puzzle together and we'll frame it, and it'll actually go in the nursery next to the elephant. And that way, as the child grows, they'll see that we wanted this child. Like, we have prayed for years for this child. This is not something that just happened. They were wanted from before they were even born. And then on the back, we're going to put it in a frame that you can view from either side. So if you turn it, you can see, once the puzzle's put together, all 252 names of people who cared for this child before this child was even born, or cared for our family. And so what we're going to do with anybody who donated to us is, I have postcards with this on it, and I'll write like a thank you and send this so they have something to remember. Our GoFundMe page, I'll put a link below. Again, this is not a fundraiser, but the link is if you want to read more about our story. The link will take you there, and you can read, you know, it's like maybe half a page long of our story. But it's just about like being our village, like joining our journey. And the concept is about, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. And so we're just asking people to be part of our village. And so I know this isn't diamond painting, but people wanted to, you know, some people Facebook messaged me or left comments at the last video, and you know, I'm an open book. I use discretion on how much I share, but I just wanted to share our story, and I know there's so much loss out there, but I know the healing power of family, of friends, of support, and you know, God, Jesus Christ, has healed us and is still healing us. You know, whether you believe that or not, that's completely up to you, but that's our faith. And so thank you so much for listening, for being a great support system. And yeah, next time I have great ideas. If you've finished this video, I have a video coming up of just how to navigate AliExpress with searching. Because how do you search for things that you want when China has different ways of labeling things? So I thought that would be an interesting video. And then I have a couple more video ideas coming up that are just kind of thinking outside the box when it comes to diamond painting. So I'm super excited. I hope that you will join me on our next video together. Until next time, be blessed.